in my past, I've had, quite a promiscuous past at times. I've done all the traveling. I know exactly what you're talking about. And even as a guy, sometimes it comes back to me and it bites me, because you meet a really moral, principled woman, and then she wouldn't be so interested in me. So if I could take back time, I'd probably be a little bit more frugal with it if I was your age. Mm-hmm. Not even giving you advice. I'm just saying that's the way I'd do it.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Men want a woman that, like, on the first date, if they do put out on the first date, in your mind, wouldn't you block them off to being eligible, like you were saying earlier? Because I think that might be wrong, but I think a lot of women have that in our brains, is that they're not going to see us. Like, so even if we were promiscuous before, if this is the person we do want to be with, then we're going to be like, oh, they're going to want me to be this way, so then we change to be that way, and then it gets so confusing. There's so much misunderstanding and miscommunication between men and women. I do see that. So what you're basically saying is that you're kind of in a rock and a hard place. It's like, I want to fuck you on the first date, but I'm pretty sure you would respect me more if I waited, so I'm gonna wait. And then they're like, well, why didn't you do it if you did it for them? I was like, oh, well, I would have. And then they're like, oh, so you would have been a whore? I don't want to be with a whore. And then it's like, wait.
I do get what you're saying. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it comes back to the old adage: you can't have your cake and eat it. We put ourselves in certain situations.
But you can have your past and your future too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what that means.
I actually have.
Good, I do.
It does.
I do have a response to that. I mean, here's what I think. Right. If that guy, if you would otherwise, how do I want to frame this? Let's say you end up waiting with a guy, right? Okay. You end up you force a wait for 4 days, right? 4 dates. It's not clear to me, had you hooked up with him immediately, that you would have not ended up in a relationship anyways. Right. So I think whether you hook up with him on the first date or the third date, quite honestly, I don't think it's going to have really a major impact on whether because if he's interested in having sex with you, perhaps he wants there to be continuity and it could lead into a relationship, or it doesn't. So
that's good information to have. And I just had to remember something from before, is that when we were going around about how long you should wait, that I never got to it, was that honestly for me in situations that there is that period of waiting to make sure that it's not just about sex, it's not just about my body, that they actually do like you, but to be truthful and honest and radically transparent. For me anyway, I do believe that not believe, but the whole waiting to marriage thing, I don't understand that at all, because I do think that what if you don't like having sex with that person? You just spent this whole time getting to know them and in a relationship, and you might have love in that way, but if you're trying to have a intimate relationship and then you all of a sudden love each other and trying to have sex, and it's like, oh, I don't like having sex with you, or we don't connect that way, that is something.
How long have you been spiritual for?
My whole life.
I mean, in terms of the pantheism and the astrology.
I feel I'm, let's see, maybe 23 it started.
Have you ever, and I'm not even taking the piss, but have you ever tried to go to church?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to lean into a Christianity or?
Yeah, I actually did not wear my rosary today because I didn't know if I wanted to have any religious context on here, but I have a place with God for sure.
Yeah? And it's the Christian God? You said you wore a rosary?
Yeah.
Did everyone get an opportunity to answer, how long do you think you should wait for sex?
I wanted to wait till marriage, but that didn't happen. So, I don't know. I waited till we were official.
Okay.
If I was dating
Is that your current boyfriend or in the past boyfriend?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did you guys, I think we left off with you, maybe, how long do you think you should wait for sex? Before having sex? Are you down first night, second date, third date?
Probably being official, if it's a relationship, being official.
Unless you're traveling and you're trying to cultivate experiences.
Yes.
Okay. What about for you?
I don't really have a time thing on it.
Okay.
I don't know how to answer that
question. How about the last guy that you were intimate with? How long did you wait with him?
Let's see. few weeks. Probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay.
I feel like for me, it would depend on if the chemistry was there and the vibe of the night. Like if I want to have sex that night and we're talking and then we want to have sex, then let's have sex. But if not, it's not there. I want to keep going on more dates before. It just depends on when I feel comfortable with it.
Can I just say something? I think that just before we continue, I think that the duality of what you guys are talking about is the problem in terms of what we're seeing. Whereas you were kind of talking before about like turning over a new leaf. If you turned over a new leaf and you thought like that, you know, this is the sort of person I am now, and the past hadn't been too crazy, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. But if you have the two thoughts simultaneously, where I could have sex on the first night or I could make you wait, that's where the problem is, because you're like, why am I in this basket? And I'm not saying that I even want to be in either basket, but I think that that's the problem, having that duality. But if you are at a different phase of your life, and you know, if you're plugged into a church or something like that, and if you're actually taking it seriously, then it can be. Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
For your analogy, I don't think I fit in with any of those two baskets. That's what I do. Like I don't identify myself as I'm gonna wait for this long or I'm gonna sleep on the first night. I just go when I want to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like I don't put like I don't fit into one basket.
But the baskets exist.
The baskets do exist.
That's the problem.
Yes, they do exist. But for me personally, I just don't identify to either of them.
Okay. How long do you think you should wait before having sex?
If I'm in like pursuing a relationship, like around 4 dates or so.
4 dates, okay.
Me personally, probably like a month or two. I want to make sure that I get to know them, that there's an emotional connection, and that I feel safe and comfortable with them.
Did you ever have a one-night stand?
No, not personally.
Okay. What about you? How long should you wait?
I would say I will wait a little bit, like for months, because I can't get connected with person like emotionally in like 1 or 2 days or like in 3 dates. So I would prefer the time.
So a couple months?
Unless I don't feel like emotionally connected with that person.
So you would wait longer if
like,
you don't feel an
unless
emotional
I don't
connection?
feel like, yeah, I will wait if I don't feel like it.
Have you ever had like a friends with benefits?
No.
Fuck buddy?
No.
One night stand?
No.
Okay, congratulations. So the other question is, have you ever made a guy wait, but also have you also had a one night stand or had sex relatively quickly? I think you answered yes. Kayla?
No, not that I can remember.
Well,
no.
What's the longest you've made a guy wait? Here, let me reframe the question. What's the shortest you've made a guy wait? What's the longest you've made a guy wait? Go ahead.
Maybe the shortest was probably maybe like a week or so, just because I knew like we were already like dating, and then he became my boyfriend. And then before that, like maybe like a month, just because of distance.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Does the situation differ for your minds if like we're like hooking up, we're kissing, we're doing like things, but we're not actually having sex? We're not doing the act of sex.
I would say it changes it a little bit.
It changes it?
Because you can maybe feel the burning desire there, and maybe it's like that you want to draw out the tension a little bit. But if you don't feel sexually attracted, as a guy, it's pretty easy to tell if a girl's not overly sexually attracted to you. And if she's making you wait because she thinks you're a good relationship prospect in other ways. But if you can tell that she's really attracted, can't keep her hands off you, is kissing you, whatever, and then you draw out the tension, that's a little bit different.
Okay.
But if you can tell that she's not attracted to you, it's pretty, you can tell.
Okay.
So the question is, would I be more accepting of the situation if, like would I be more accepting of the situation if I knew she slept with 10 other guys immediately, but then she wants a relationship with me, but she's willing to make out with me? Is that the question?
No, like more like she went out and like she met a guy at a party, you know, they were like, I guess hooking up isn't the right word, but like doing everything, and then she was like, okay, actually, like I'm not gonna have sex with you. But they like engaged in some intimacy.
Wait, with me or this hypothetical guy?
The hypothetical guy. How does that change your view?
I misread the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant if you were on a date with a person and then they'd done that in the past, and then, yeah, okay. Reframe it one more time.
Like, let's say a girl, you're getting into a relationship with a girl, and she says, hey, by the way, you know, this is my body count or whatever, but like these men in the past, like I would go out, you know, I'd go to parties, like, you know, we'd do some stuff, I'd sleep over, but I like when the act of sex came, like I'd be like, no.
Okay, so she's saying that this is my body count and these are all of the guys who nearly got there.
Yes.
That's probably a bigger red flag than the stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because when you're going to parties and you're sort of like doing everything, you just don't know the extent to it.
Yeah.
That to me, that sort of draws out a periphery that will make me ask a lot of questions.
Okay. So it's like, would you say it's like a bigger, like you would judge a girl more if she's going out partying, like having sex, having like full sex, like one night stands, versus like she's going out, she's with her friend, she meets a guy, whatever, it's like chill, they're about to have a one night stand, and then she's like, actually no, like sex is really meaningful for me, like I'm not gonna fully have sex with you? Or is it like the same thing?
I don't know. Party girls are party girls, to be honest. It's kind of the same thing, to be fair, because he probably sucked his dick and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, because that happens a lot. They say, oh, I'm not going to have sex, but, you know, you're still...
No, I'm genuinely curious.
Still the next man's Willie,
Yeah.
you know?
Continuing around the table, what's the shortest amount of time you've made somebody wait? What's the longest amount of time you've made somebody wait?
I've had a one night stand before.
Okay.
So I'd say within the night was probably the shortest. Sure. And then the longest was probably a couple weeks.
Okay. What about you?
I've also had a one night stand, and I think that the longest was around 6 months.
Okay.
I haven't had a one night stand, so I don't have like
Sure.
a lowest, but 3 months, because I've only been with my husband, so.
Oh, okay. What about you?
And the shortest, I would say 1 month with my ex.
Yeah.
And the longest, you're gonna sound funny to you, but like, yeah, my longest relationship, I didn't have sex with that guy. It's not like by purpose or something. Yeah, that's funny for you.
Were you waiting till marriage, or?
Maybe, but it didn't work out.
How long were you with him for?
2 years.
And you
I
weren't
was
waiting
in
till
India,
marriage?
I was not in US, like...
What was the reason? You got to give a man a reason.
Like, it's from the both sides, not just me, I'm not...
Was he asexual? What, he didn't want to have sex?
He never said it.
He was gay?
No, he was not.
Okay, last question on this, guys. Oh, we need to come back to you.
It's gonna be
So,
popped up. I didn't sneak out.
what's the shortest amount of time you've waited, and what's the longest amount of time you've waited?
I don't know the answer to the longest time. I don't know the answer to that one. And I mean, I've had hookups on the first night, so.
Okay. You maybe range like three weeks, 4 weeks?
No, I've never like planned out like, oh, we're gonna wait this amount of time.
So
I've had friends that I'm like really close with, like that we're like really close friends, and like we're never like, oh, we want to be like that. We want to sleep with each other, and
then like one thing leads to another, and
it happens because you know. But
well, what about? I mean, the friends thing's a bit complicated because there's like a pre-existing acquaintance or relationship there. So I mean, if I can narrow it down for you to make the question easier to answer, what about if people like immediately the context of the relationship was romantic? Maybe you met on a dating app.
Like in relationships, I think the longest I've waited is my most recent one with that 2 weeks, because that's
2 weeks. Okay.
I've been the most.
Okay.